Right now on News 19 at 11, Alec Murdaugh's defense team presents graphic testimony before they rest. Hear Alec's own brother testify about the scene of the crime.
Not everyone has access to reliable methods of transportation. That's why Coletown Bike Collective provides free bicycles to the community. I wanted to test it out myself. Now, I'm going to be heading down South Lafayette Drive towards downtown Sumter. That means that I'm going to cross the railroad tracks on the side that Sumter residents have told me is the worst.
When your children are crossing the street after school, you want to make sure they're safe. That's why Sumter is looking for crossing guards. At Swan Lake Iris Gardens, the Sumter Master Gardeners have brought their shovels and they're digging in to get the chocolate garden ready for winter.
This is River. River is a llama and he is the star of the show at the Southeast Llama Rescue.
Residents tell me that they're off to a slow start since we're still in jury selection, but they have noticed an uptick in customers. I spoke to those local residents earlier today to see how they're feeling.
I think it's going to be like a circus.
Teresa Davis says she's gearing up for lots of visitors to her hometown of Walterboro. Here's your 60-second recap of today's court proceedings. Alec Murdaugh is accused of murdering his wife Maggie and his son Paul on June 7th, 2021. First, the defense called Dr. Jonathan Eisenstadt to the stand. He's a forensic pathologist who analyzed the reports of Maggie and Paul's autopsies and shared his opinion with the jurors.
This is, textbook for a contact range shotgun wound to the head.
Now, there was a flurry of objections today, both from the defense and the prosecution about witness testimony. The state's rebuttal was both technical and emotional on Tuesday. Proceedings moved pretty quickly as 6 different witnesses took the stand to directly address witness testimony from the defense. Most of the day's testimony focused on detailed, intricate explanations of DNA testing from different agents with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. It's wrapped up with really graphic testimony about the murders. A total of 4 witnesses took the stand. Ryan Kelly, Rachel Wynn, Sarah Zapata, and Ellen Reamer gave technical explanations throughout the day, the most gripping centered around the victim's wounds.
It's just hard to imagine a scenario in which the shotgun wound to the head was first.
Dr. Ellen Reamer with MUSC began using blank diagrams to walk the jury through the wounds that Maggie and Paul sustained and the order of them. She testifies Paul was shot first in the chest, which didn't kill him. The next shot, though, was fatal as it went through his shoulder and into his head. 29 days later, and we finally have a resolution in this trial. We know that defendant Alec Murdaugh will spend life in prison for the murders of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. Development Director Clarence Gaines says the city will receive $308,000. The majority will go to housing repairs and administration. Another big emphasis is on youth programs. For residents across Sumter, MLK Day has its own unique meaning.
Freedom and justice.
Just being able to be who we are unapologetically.
Have there been any issues that you've been seeing?
Well, there's issues where people are coming in with voter registration cards.
Now, Gamecock fans have come to celebrate. They're repping their team, and I caught up with a few of them to see how they're feeing.
We're going to take the W back to Columbia, South Carolina, and we're going to have a parade, and everybody is invited.
You love to see that excitement. Chandler and I are here in Jacksonville, and we'll continue bringing you coverage on everything from the game to the fans and the atmosphere. Now, although South Carolina lost to Notre Dame, I spoke to fans who tell me they're excited about next season.
You know, we fought hard, did not quite come out on top, but you know what? It was a great effort. Go Cox. Go Cox. Go Cox all the way.
Love it. This is actually my first job I ever had.
Jamal Adair started working at Turn 90 on June 30th. 2 days before that, he was in prison. The moment he got out, he started looking for a job. Lessard has made lifelong friends, starting in 1981.
Miss Judy's been here forever. She's so friendly and easy to get along with. She's just a beautiful person.
That's something you just can't get from a book.
Christian Frizelka is a volunteer at the Sumter County Museum's homestead. He stokes the fire and forges metal to show kids what a blacksmith's day would have looked like in the 1800s. Abortion, boating safety, and fentanyl trafficking were all topics that lawmakers wanted to address today.
As people, as a community in our nation, we're not conditioned
to bury a child that's foreign to us, and it's very shocking.
The community is still reeling after 3 children and 2 men were found shot to death in a Sumter home on Tuesday night. Sumter Police Chief Russell Rourke says a woman was at her home with a male coworker outside when her ex-husband, Charles Slacks Jr., entered the residence using a key. Rourke says Slacks shot the coworker and 3 children asleep in their bed before taking his own life. The mother of the children was not wounded.
When you have a situation where little children were sleeping in the comfort of their own bed, and at no fault of their own had their life taken, particularly by a father and a stepfather, that's difficult for us to rationalize.
It's difficult for the entire community to comprehend, neighbor Hung Win says.
For the past, it was peace. It just, I don't know, it just a big surprise, big shock, Judo. But this place is peace. You know, a lot of kids, they hang around here, but now I think everybody gonna freak out.
Henry Moreno has been working to sell a house in the subdivision for the past 9 months. Chalk drawings and basketball hoops line the sidewalks in the neighborhood, which Moreno says is usually calm.
It's a quiet neighborhood, it's super peaceful, and then a tragedy happened right next door.
Community members like Brittany Bartlett and Harriet Palesko have been stopping by to pay respects and
hug your little ones, hold them tight. You never know.
He wrote it out on this piece of paper, vitiligo, and I had no clue of what that was, the word, nothing.
13 years ago, Tiffany Williams' doctor told her the white spot on her hand was vitiligo. She went home to Google what that meant and found out it was a condition that causes the skin to lose pigmentation.
Whenever you get diagnosed, you feel like that you are by yourself. You feel alone. And I know there's other people that exist, but that you feel like you're in that bubble by yourself. And having that support system, it's none other, because you can talk with and you can relate to that person, because they're going through the same thing you're going through.
It's why she created the Sumter Vitiligo Support Group for people like John Day, who was diagnosed 11 years ago. At first, he tried to stop it.
And I found out that the treatment was worse than vitiligo, because vitiligo didn't cause any problems, no pains, no itching, no nothing, but the treatment caused a lot of problems.
So he embraced the condition. Now he's working with other support group members to help others, like 10-year-old Gabriella Calvin, embrace their changing skin. As you can see, I'm standing next to I-26, where there are a lot of drivers on the road. And as you can tell, traffic is moving smoothly, but starting tomorrow, traffic could be at a standstill as drivers try to get to and from the Harbison and Lexington area.
Malfunction Junction.
Malfunction Junction.
Malfunction Junction.
Malfunction Junction.
The nickname Columbia residents have given to the intersection of I-20 and I-26 near St. Andrews.
It's terrible. I mean, like, it's always been terrible. Everybody hates it. I guess it's a necessary evil, if you will. But, you know, how long has people been complaining about Malfunction Junction? As long as I can remember.
This weekend, SCDOT will temporarily close the exit ramp connecting I-20 westbound as part of the Carolina Crossroads project. Instead of merging straight onto I-26 to go toward Harbison, drivers will have to take this detour.
This is your grandmother's story. Just tell it. And that changed everything, because it's her story, and I'm really, really glad to tell it.
It's the advice Dia Clyburn got from a friend when she found out Michaela Angela Davis wanted to produce a documentary about her grandmother, Almeda Disley Clyburn.
Clyburn, you can feel Almeda in the space. There's still old hot combs and beautiful old chairs, and so it still has this feeling of history, but there's young women in there still getting their hair pressed.
In 1950, Almeda opened a beauty salon.
And she would bring young ladies from the rural areas, have them live with her for a little while she puts them through beauty school, and then she would encourage them to open their own salons back where they live. So she allowed her legacy to continue to grow.
She would also create hair products designed for Black girls and women and give them out to people in her community while fostering a safe space in her salon.
Beauty shops are places where women, Black women particularly, raised money for the Civil Rights Movement, raised money for colleges, developed skill sets, safe places in the community, and they are still that. Clyburn's is probably the most vibrant example of that.